Hey everybody, it's Trinity from Moonstone Mystics. Oh, so I don't know about you, but at the filming of this, there is a 13-hour voidove course that's going on. And for those of us who are in especially early recovery, and this is for everybody, but I think the thing I've noticed is that in early recovery, the voidove course moons can be very informative but impactful. And we had one start about an hour ago. It's going to be 13 hours, and I've always said that if you are spiritually misaligned, you're going to feel restless, irritable, and discontent during these times. If you are spiritually aligned, it's going to feel really great and freewheeling and stuff. And so I was surprised because I've been, really doing a lot of my rituals and everything, and I am personally feeling restless, irritable, and discontent. And so when I went into meditation just a minute ago, I was like, okay, what is going on? What do I need to learn? What do I need to let go of? And when you know it, it's nicotine. So, and as I got that realization, all of a sudden, the vape that I was using went to zero, and I have no more nicotine in the house. And my guides are like, "This is your opportunity. Are you going to take it or not?" So, I guess I'm taking it. I guess I'm 12-stepping myself off of my nicotine, which is probably a good thing, but I am feeling restless, irritable, and discontent. So, considering it's been over 4 years since I have had my last drink, if you feel the same way I do, don't judge yourself. I think that's one of the things that we in recovery really can be hung up about is judging ourselves for the decisions that we make in early recovery. And I have to start treating myself as if I'm in early recovery from the nicotine. Literally, like 5 minutes early. So, because I just threw mine away. So, anyway, I wanted to come on here because this is what I do when I am feeling most like myself. And so, I'm going to go ahead and do the things that make me feel most like myself. So, Mystic Martian Oracle, let's go ahead and figure out what on earth we need to hear today. Okay? Spirit, what is the message that we need to hear today most as a collective on how we can navigate moving forward for the rest of 2025? All right. The very first card I get, Vesica Piscis, Divine Feminine, Birthing, Fertility. Now, if you've been watching me for any period of time, you know that when I use this deck, this card has been popping out a lot. And both with the tarot readings that I've listened to from other people and in my own readings, I'm hearing that I personally have been in the divine masculine energy for way too long. I need to be softer. I need to be in receptive mode. And I guess that's been a challenge for me. I don't know about you. If you've been experiencing a problem being receptive to anything, let me know in the comments, because if people try and do something nice for me, I'm like, no, I'm independent and I don't want strings attached, because I've had experiences in relationships where anytime I was gifted something, there were always strings attached. And so that's another thing that I need to detach from. Second one is Andromedans, autonomy, free will, and manifestation. It did come in the reverse. And then third eye, visions, manifesting, meditation. Okay. All three of these actually came out in the reverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them upright and then read them both ways. Because I think what this is reflecting is what is happening and what we need to do to turn those upright. And so, obviously, we've been in the divine masculine where it's all go, 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 go. And we're being told to slow down and be patient and be receptive to the things that the universe wants to give us. I genuinely, genuinely believe that the universe wants to give us the things that that we desire, but we're the ones who block it by not getting into that receptive mode and not being in the vibration of receiving. And so that's something that I think is going to be a key component for the rest of 2025, is just to sit down and stop doing too much. The next one is Andromedans. That's autonomy, free will, and manifestation. So we have two cards talking about manifestation, both of which were in the reverse. And so that really does highlight the fact that with this first card, we're blocking our manifestations. We have been for quite some time. And so let me go ahead and get, they're telling me no, not tarot. They want me to use Oracle of the Seven Energies right now. All right. I'm also hearing that we should do an energy shift during this reading for all of us collectively. So I will go ahead and do that at the end. All right. Spirit, what is the advice on how to unblock ourselves so that our manifestations can come in? What is the advice on how we can get into the receptive mode? I have endless possibilities. I'm hearing two more. Beyond the ordinary. This one. All right. And ears wide open. Okay. Before I go to the guidebook on this, because the guidebook just does a wonderful job explaining things better than I can, for the most part. But I'm going to go to that ears wide open. The message that I am getting is that we are going to receive a message. This could be that I'll pull tarot on. From the King of Wands. Okay. I have a spirit guide who, when he was living, he was a Sagittarius. And so my guides are telling me that there's a message from him coming to me within the next 24 hours. For you, it may look a little different. Let me go ahead and get some clarification for you. Just to see how it might be a little different. All right. Okay. So, I have the Three of Wands here as the clarifier. Go ahead and show that to you. This is a Keymaster Tarot, by the way. So, with the fact that I pulled the King of Wands first and then the Three of Wands, what I am hearing is that the message will pertain to what your next steps should be as far as manifesting. It's going to be outside of this reading, and I'm hearing that it is going to be through community. So if you're a 12-stepper like I am, it may be at a meeting, it may be with your sponsor. And make sure that you're keeping up with your step work, with your sponsor, going to the meetings that you're needing to go to. Not that this is technically a 12-step tarot reading, but I center most of my readings on recovery-related circumstances. But this may not have anything to do with recovery. If you're not a person who's in recovery, this could be a message on your next steps in adjusting yourself emotionally so that you can get into receptive mode. But there's going to be someone, I'm hearing a good friend who is going to be bringing you a bit of advice. And that is going to be the advice that Spirit would like you to follow. Caveat being, don't talk with someone who will co-sign on your bullshit. I'm not monetized, so I can say that. Don't talk with someone who's just going to be a yes sir, yes ma'am type of a person. You need someone who can give you some constructive criticism from a loving place. But if that gives you any idea of who that might be, it's going to be someone who's incredibly wise, who maybe has been in similar circumstances that you are, and that they are not going to blow smoke up your butt. They're going to be somebody who can say, hey, this is exactly what you need to do because this is what worked for me. I am also hearing that the answers will come to you as far as getting out of this block when you stop beating yourself up for not being good enough. So that means getting rid of the guilt and shame. That means any fears that you may have developed along the way need to be let go of. We need to do a surrendering. Ritualistically, that can look like prayer. You could light a candle and write all of your fears and resentments on a piece of paper and then burn it with a candle, obviously using fire safety. But, there are many, many different ways to kind of symbolically release, to get those feelings out of your body. And so that's turning to that may aid in making this message come through. I think the message is going to come through regardless of whether you've done this or not. But you being able to surrender and let go of these things is going to help you see with clarity, and not see with clarity, hear with clarity. And digest the information that you're being given in a way that you can actually do something with it. Because otherwise, it's like that message will come, but it's going to hit a brick wall. Okay? So that's your opportunity here, is to surrender to the fact that you need help, first and foremost. You need to ask for help. And then leaning into Spirit in order to help you surrender what you're holding on to. And a good example physically is my nicotine. I'm going to have to literally 12-step myself off of that. I literally cried last night when I was in meditation because they told me this is getting to a serious point where you are going to end up giving yourself something that you can't get rid of, as far as like cancer, emphysema, COPD. So this needs to stop now so that you can return to your physical health that you are asking us to help you with. Because they are willing to help me get back to healthy lung capacity and stuff like that. But they can't fix what I damage irreversibly. And so that's what they've been trying to tell me, and I have just hung on to that. So, and that's what addiction looks like, guys. And I'm fully aware of it. So if that resonates with you and you've been struggling to get rid of a substance that maybe is a little quicker to harm you, such as drugs and alcohol, know that I am praying for you and that I am right there in the same boat, because it may not be as amplified, but I have been in that boat before, where I have been taking substances that really, really hurt me. And there is so much hope on this side. And I have to tell myself that after, when I'm craving nicotine for the next couple days, I'm going to have to remind myself that there's so much hope. If there's this much hope when I gave up drugs and alcohol, there has to be this much hope on the other side of my nicotine addiction as well. So, all right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get the guidebook I had forgotten that I had a card that I'd put in here. And I opened it up. It's opening to discovery. Okay. Let's start with that card since that was the surprise message apparently in this reading. You will be getting a message from outside of yourself, not through tarot. It will be a concrete conversation because a lot of times this can get really vague. The conversation you have with somebody else, where you can get vulnerable and say what's really going on and really start to get down to the nitty-gritty, that's going to give you more pointed information. So don't use my reading as a message, but this is an extra surprise message in here for us, and I'm hearing that it's a wonderful one. So the key concepts for card number 34, opening to discovery. The small bits of data you collect from the world to form ideas, the transfer of vital information via the universe always speaking to you, the need to integrate information and be discerning about what you expose yourself to. Okay, so with that, I will go into that message later, but this one, what I'm getting with that is the fact that we need to quit exposing ourselves to things that hurt us. So like a really good example of that is ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination, I have really struggled with being able to watch the news in any amount whatsoever. And it's almost like I feel like I have to keep kind of my fingers on the pulse of what's going on, because I don't feel like it's the appropriate time to be burying my head in the sand, but at the same time, I cannot afford to let this type of thing cause me to go off the rails and be anxious. And so having to really step up my spiritual hygiene, having to step up my rituals regularly has been key. That's what I have personally done for me. And I do not want to live in an echo chamber where I am just discussing things with people who 100% agree with me. That's not what this country is about. But at the same time, it's been really hard to watch how much divisiveness there has been, because I operate from a space of love as a spiritual person. And, it's just been really hard to watch. And so that's how that has manifested physically with me. So this is pretty much telling me it is okay for me to take a step back and breathe, because there's literally nothing I can do about what's going on right now until I get into the ballot box and vote next time. That's the part I can handle. And I also need to trust that if it is something that important where I feel like I need to go and protest something, it will be exposed to me in a different way. I don't need to be watching the news right now. What does that mean for you? It could be hanging out with the wrong people. It could be watching too many forensic files or Dateline, things that cause your vibration to get into an anxious state. We want to avoid that right now, especially through voided courses. If you are feeling restless, irritable, and discontent, don't add to that. So let me we tune into information from our outer environment, then assign meaning to it within our psyches. Every day, however, the amount of data we sort through exceeds what we're capable of processing. Especially since the advent of the internet, we have been bombarded with more than we could ever hope to absorb. Therefore, it's important to be mindful of what we expose ourselves to. That goes right along with what I just said. Just be really mindful. It may be okay to, obviously if you're in recovery, you need to be, having your call list, and you need to be going to meetings and working with a sponsor. I am not a replacement for your sponsor. I think I say that every video, and I think I should say it every video. But as far as maybe a digital detox might be in order, and I know that that's definitely for me. Just because we need to control what we can, and the amount of information that we get thrown at us can be mitigated by just stepping away from social media in particular, or the TV. So again, I had actually done a Facebook Live the other day, or yesterday, and it talked about how it was really important for us to get into our creative juices. And so right now, instead of watching TV or doom scrolling, maybe picking up a paintbrush, a charcoal pencil, a pen and paper, doing any form of art, whether it's like written, or actual physical art, or writing music, doing woodworking, crocheting, do those things. And if you need to have the TV on, make sure that it's something that makes you laugh and brings you joy. Okay. So, that is for that one. Let me go ahead. Number 38, Endless Possibilities. And then these two cards have a connection I'm seeing. So hold on just a second. Let me read this, and then I will go into the intuitive part of it. Unlimited potential, moving beyond limiting beliefs, and the filter of an unhealed part, or unhealed past. Using your awareness to discern what is possible and having the courage to leap beyond even that. You look at the world through the lens of your life experiences, personality, and conditioning. That filter determines whether you believe in an abundant universe of endless possibilities or various degrees of limitations and finite range of options. When your expectations, unconscious or otherwise, are based on lack, it's difficult to see what is truly available to you. So, all right. So here is where I'm going to go intuitive with this, because on this card, there are stars, and this one is almost like going down to the key. Okay? Right here. On this next card that I'm reading, the star is on the top of her head. She is the key. She literally is the key, which tells me that both I am the key for myself and you are the key for yourself. We need to eradicate these limiting beliefs, this lack mentality, because the universe really does have so much for us that it wants to give us. It wants us to be happy. It wants us to be thriving. I actually just had a conversation with a friend of mine 2 days ago about how I am completely convinced, based off of the meditations I've done lately, that the universe absolutely wants to see us prosperous and abundant. It's no question in my mind that that is really what Spirit wants for us. And does provide, if you think about it, because if thoughts are things and you're constantly worrying, you will be prosperous and abundant in things to worry about. So do bear that in mind with the perspective. But at the same time, knowing this now, if this is new news to you, I'm sorry for being the bearer of that news, but the wonderful aspect of that knowledge is the fact that you already can establish that you're prosperous and abundant. It's just you're not prosperous and abundant in the things that you want to be prosperous and abundant in. So you have to change your vibration in order to magnetize those things that you do want prevalent in your environment. So instead of worrying about things you cannot control, which will beget more things that you're focusing on that you can't control, why don't we change our focus? And this is for me too. I'm looking at myself in the camera right now. Focus on the things that we actually do have control over. Focus on the things that we actually can contribute. Focus on the things like investing in yourself. There is no greater investment that you can make than the one that you make in yourself. So why would we not dedicate the vast majority of our focus on that? That is not selfish and self-centered, especially if you are focusing on yourself so that you can then turn around and be giving and loving and making the community a better place. That's exactly where spirit for myself wants me to be, which is why I love doing these readings, because it's really taking and breaking down manifestation to a point where I have gone from being absolutely miserable, addicted to substances, and totally consumed with all of the worry, fear, guilt, shame, resentment, remorse, everything, to blossoming and using manifestation to heal my physical body, then my emotional and spiritual body, so that now I'm ready to start bringing in those things, and I'm seeing the movement coming in. So it's been a real blessing to be able to have my hand held like this throughout the entire process by my higher power. This too can happen for you. And my passion on this planet is to do it for myself so I can turn around and guide other people to do it. Because I tell you what, it is really hard to get to a point where you can manifest the life of your dreams when you're constantly being held back by your trauma. And that trauma usually, sometimes we do it to ourselves, but especially in childhood, we don't do that to ourselves. We didn't have any choice in the matter. And so, giving ourselves the grace to understand that, and then the brevity it takes to move forward is colossal. So, and I know if you're here watching this, you have that potentiality. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to this. So I really do want to drive that home to you, that you are able to do what I have done for myself. The next one is number 45, which is Beyond the Ordinary. Oh, and I see another star with this. And that's located at the heart chakra. Let me show you this. The stars are really coming out to me. So that might be a call to go stargazing as a form of meditation for those watching. So I would maybe consider that as an opportunity to really get into conscious contact with your higher power through that. Because that will open up the heart space, I'm hearing. So number 45, Beyond the Ordinary. Oh, I love it when it turns right to that page. Okay. Number 45, Beyond the Ordinary, key concepts, the mystical, ineffable part of life. I have never heard the word ineffable, but I'm going to look that up afterward. Trusting the invisible world without understanding it. Recognizing that some things cannot be known in advance and are not meant to be grasped intellectually. The awareness that everything is as it should be, even if it doesn't make sense. Okay. Beyond our ordinary worlds, defined by our memory, our intellect, and our five senses, is the mystical realm of beauty, magic, and extraordinary potential. This is the spiritual realm, the quantum reality, called by some the Great Mystery. This place doesn't operate under the same laws we're used to, but rather has its own way of working that is perfect, though hard for us to understand. Okay. With that one, I'm hearing that it would be wise to, especially if you're a 12-stepper, if there is something that you're really struggling with, tearing yourself away from, it may be a first step moment for you. Where you're identifying exactly how powerless you are over that thing. And it really doesn't matter what that thing is. If it's making your life unmanageable and you're powerless over it, turning turning to the divine and asking the divine to take it from you will be extraordinarily lucrative right now, and it does not have to make sense. If you're new to 12 steps and you're like, I don't know that I buy that, it really does work. It doesn't have to make sense, and you do not need to think logically about it. You just need to trust me when I say it works. And I'm living proof that it does, and there are millions of people in the world who can say the same thing. You can too. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and read card number 33, which is Ears Wide Open. Let me pull the card again really quick. And it's the thing that I find really cool is that the clarifying card was the Three of Wands. And this is card number 33. We literally have 333 right here in this cluster. That means we are being supported by angelic guidance and getting angelic protection at this time. So please, please, please trust that. Every time I see 333, I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to the universe. Because I know I'm being protected from something I may not even know about. So, and I used to be like, what am I being protected from? What I need to know. I need to know. No. Then they kind of pulled the curtain back sometimes, and I would be like, oh, I didn't need to know that. And so it's okay. It's okay not to know what you're being protected from. Just know that you are and be grateful that you are. Okay. So card number 33. This is energy number 5, apparently. All right. Number 33, ears wide open. Deep listening as a gift we give to ourselves, understanding someone else's needs, showing focused attention, turning into another, and letting go of the ego's need to be heard. The world is constantly speaking to us and offering clues about what is really going on beneath the surface of things. We all have the capacity to hear beyond the noise that reaches our ears. The challenge is when we feel misunderstood or unheard. When we feel insignificant, it's easy to over-explain ourselves in an attempt to get acknowledged. Now it is time to let go, all of that go. Offer your attention as a great gift, the great gift that it is. It's time to stop multitasking, checking your phone, thinking of what you're going to say next, and doing all of the other things that keep you from connecting fully. Whenever we are in the state of chaos and distraction, paying attention to only some of what is being said, we lose the ability to pick up on everything. I literally picked that up intuitively. So that shows what can happen. You don't even need to have someone else talking to you. You can pick up the vibes. This really does happen. Those 9-step promises where they say that the intuition starts working is 100% real. The more I work my steps, the more sober I get, the more I detach from things that I no longer need, the more psychic I get, because this is the gift that God has given me. Some people, it's, other areas like accounting. I would die personally, but, you may be able to work more efficiently because it's something you're passionate about, and those are the gifts that you were given. So don't think that you're, if you're a little worried about this type of thing, like scared of psychic abilities, first and foremost, thank you for trusting me enough to use mine so that you can get a message. But second, not everybody's like this, but some people are. I know actually quite a few people who it's like their psychic abilities just go through the roof working 12 steps. So that was a distraction. I got off topic, so let me go back. Deep listening is the way of which we immerse ourselves in the truth of the world. In this way, with ears wide open, we also open our hearts and minds to understand more than what is being conveyed through words. Opportunities arise from the subtle cues we miss when we are not 100% present. Purposeful, open listening is an act of true respect and intimacy. When you are in the space of receptivity, letting go of the need to be heard or to be right, you become expansive and alert to meaningful potential. Right now, keep your ears wide open, and you will find more than you are searching for. Now, it did say it opens up your heart and your mind. Look where the stars are. The heart and the mind. That is amazing. And I am so grateful for my gifts. And I am really grateful to you for joining me on this journey. Um, if you've made it this far, let's go ahead and do that energy shift. And then I will let you go and cut you loose into the wild. So, all right, for a moment, take a deep breath. We're going to just focus on the cool air that comes into our nostrils and the warm air escaping our mouth as we breathe out through our mouth. We're going to find a deep-seated sense of calm settling into the pit of our stomach. A sense of groundedness. Being rooted into the earth. Being supported and loved by the divine. And we're going to ask the divine to do an energy shift so that we can more easily pull ourselves away from the distractions and focus on the here and now, being present in the moment, being able to receive. Letting go of the need to be in a rush, the need to be doing everything ourselves. And being open to receiving help and guidance. Being open to receiving opportunities. Being open to receiving miracles that are abound and all around us every day. And you should start feeling a little bit of warmth in your heart chakra as it's opening up and expanding. Receiving. As we release all that no longer serves us. Namaste, guys. Thank you so, so much. Sorry about my tummy. That often happens when my body is physically releasing stuff. It's just like whir. So, with this energy shift that we just did, you may experience flatulence, burping, sinus drainage. You may be either really energized or sleepy. Just do some self-care, okay? It will not last for long. And then this void, of course, you should feel a little bit more like a sense of relief from feeling irritable and discontent at this time. But that doesn't mean it's going to fully go away if you are completely out of alignment with God's will for you in your life. So know that this is going to be ending very soon. It'll be ending tomorrow morning at about 5 o'clock in the morning. And you can do this, okay? If I can do it, you can do it. I promise. All right. So with that, I will leave you. If no one's told you today, know that I love you. Take care.